Right now at noon, Freeman Health System decides it will no longer build a hospital in southeast Kansas.
And we've got those clouds out there as promised. Eventually they'll start clearing out and then we'll have another potential round of rain. Details coming up.
Plus, President Trump says he's confident Israeli hostages could be released in the coming days. Details on what Israel and Hamas have agreed to and the celebrations from Tel Aviv to Gaza.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snelly. Freeman Health System has decided not to build a new hospital in southeast Kansas more than 6 months after the company officially broke ground. The decision comes after Freeman launched a feasibility study for the project earlier this year. Freeman says the feasibility study considered multiple factors, including the impact of pending legislation, including the One Big Beautiful Bill, and evolving challenges in rural health care. Now, both of those variables contributed to the final decision not to continue with the hospital. In a statement, Frontenac's mayor says, quote, "While we're disappointed, I want to be clear this was not a reflection of Frontenac's infrastructure readiness or performance as a working partner," end quote. Freeman services are still available in Pittsburgh and their Fort Scott location, which opened last month. And the Cubs Community Care Center opens its doors in Humboldt. The new facility became a reality thanks to a grant and partnerships with Humboldt USD 258 School District, Southeast Kansas Mental Health Center, and Allen Community College. The facility provides multiple services such as primary care, mental health care, daycare, and virtual education. Let's take it over now to Chris Warner for a look at today's forecast.
Yeah, we've had the clouds out there since this morning, and eventually we'll start to get some clearing across the region. It's just going to take a moment. Of course, live look downtown Pittsburgh, MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline. See the shadows. You can see we're getting a little bit of sunlight. You can even see it reflecting on some of the cars out here. We will continue to slowly clear out. Yesterday, though, take a look at that. Started at 53, just 2 degrees above normal. Our high, upper 70s, still not that bad. Above average, but not that bad. However, temperatures already warming, and as I discussed this morning, our southwestern counties have the better chance of getting a little closer to 80, simply because that clearing from southwest to northeast is obviously going to happen a little earlier down there. The rest of us, though, we've got some low mid 70s across the region, so still not bad. Eventually on our ways to the mid to upper 70s for most. We'll be back down to the low 70s by 7, and we'll have that gradual clearing through the late evening hours, just like last night into this morning. Low 60s by 11, then clouds after about 2-3 a.m. will start increasing again ahead of our next, at least slight chance for rain. We'll have details on that here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. We'll see you soon. Well, Israel and Hamas are a major step closer to ending their 2-year-long war after reaching a deal which calls for Hamas to release all remaining hostages and for Israel to withdraw its forces to an agreed-upon line. Now, President Trump announced last night what he called the first phase of an agreement, and this morning meets with his cabinet. Natalie Brandt has more.
From Hostage Square in Tel Aviv to the streets of Khan Yunis in Gaza, an outpouring of joy and relief as Israel and Hamas have agreed to the first steps to end the war.
Peace for the Middle East, it's a beautiful phrase, and we hope it's going to come true.
President Trump celebrated the breakthrough, speaking last night by phone to a group of hostage families.
The hostages will come back. They're all coming back on Monday.
Loved ones say their healing cannot begin until all the hostages come home.
The president says in phase 1 of the plan, Israel will withdraw its troops to an agreed-upon line, and then all remaining hostages, including the deceased, will be released in coming days. Israel will also release some Palestinian prisoners.
The administration is hopeful the initial ceasefire provides momentum for achieving a lasting peace, but challenges remain, including whether Hamas will disarm and how Gaza will be governed. Palestinians celebrating the news say they just want the bloodshed to end. While strikes by Israel continue today, its parliament is meeting this morning to vote on the deal and start the clock on the ceasefire. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Now to the government shutdown in the U.S. and its impact on Missouri agriculture. Farmers are looking for answers when it comes to where they're going to sell their crops and if the government will be able to supply them with a much-needed aid package the president says he would like to give out. Chris Bryant has more on how tariff wars with China are also taking a toll.
The American farmer really wants is just an even playing field, level playing field. The United States is the second largest producer of soybeans in the world. China makes up 60% of the total number of imports of soybeans in the world.
But these relationships that we have with countries like China, they were built over decades. They're not something that just we enter and exit on a whim.
Farmer Brad Arnold says China not purchasing soybeans this year is really hurting Missouri farmers. And those tasked with feeding the country and helping to feed the world know it takes faith to work the fields.
We're the ultimate gambler, I guess, as farmers. That's a true test of faith, to put something in the ground and hope that it grows, hope that it rains, and then hope that the government does what they can do to support our trade agreements.
But could help from Washington be on the way?
The ability to offset any payments to the farmers through potential tariff revenue is really where the president wants us to head, and that's what we're looking at.
The Missouri Department of Agriculture says the United States hasn't had any new markets and has actually lost a couple of existing markets in the last couple of years. And soybean farmers could take a serious hit to the bottom line without a buyer.
They have more supply than we have demand at this point in time, and they're going to need some help to be able to get to the next growing season next year.
That would be the potential $13 billion farm aid package from Washington.
Farmers are kind of caught in the middle. And that's why I think I would support what Trump is attempting to do, but it's not a long-term fix.
Congressman Eric Burleson says the recent production by Argentina and China stopping its purchasing means the United States has to have farmers' backs.
The goal is to get us to a place where our soybean farmers are able to compete competitively throughout the rest of the world.
However, nothing happens until the government shutdown comes to an end and someone steps up to help the American people.
I'm fully in support of the returning to the way we used to do things, which is past the 12 appropriation bills.
Well, coming up, a firefighter in Independence, Missouri is crediting his department's mandatory cancer screening for saving his life. And later, we're making Italian cheese dumplings in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. It's National Fire Prevention Week, and the Coffeyville Fire Department traded in hoses for pizza boxes in partnership with Domino's. Crews use the fire trucks to deliver pizzas around town, but there's a catch. Customers received their pizza for free only if their smoke alarms are working. If not, firefighters installed new batteries or replaced the detectors on the spot, all to raise awareness about fire safety at home.
Teaching those in the community about how to be safe around their homes and to prevent fires. We're here to do a job, and that is to fight fires if they occur. But ultimately, if a fire starts, it puts us in danger, it puts the community in danger, and it puts those that are in the home in danger. So being out today is just to let people be aware of how they can be safe in their homes and prevent fires.
For information on how you can keep your family safe in case of a fire, you can visit our website. That's, of course, KOAMNewsNow.com. And firefighters are used to rushing into situations to save people's lives. But what about protecting their safety? Well, one fire department in Missouri screens its personnel once a year for cancer due to the increased risk for the work that they do. Todd Palmer brings us the story of one firefighter who believes these screenings saved his life.
For 3 years now, the Independence Fire Department has partnered with LifeScan to provide annual physicals for all members of its department. We met today with one firefighter who credits that screening with saving his life.
Yeah, I'm in total remission.
Spencer Ashley's life changed as he laid on a nondescript table in a makeshift ultrasound screening room a year ago.
It was just another normal day, This is my second life scan. The first one, I was all clear. The second one is where everything changed.
The technician noticed excessive swelling in his lymph nodes.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to make an appointment with my primary care physician and get it looked at.
Spencer Ashley, then 24 and in his second year with IFD, learned last Christmas he had cancer.
After 2 biopsies and a PET scan, I was diagnosed with classic Hodgkin lymphoma with a sensitive variant subtype, which is a rare variant form of classic Hodgkin lymphoma.
12 rounds of chemotherapy infusions and stomach injections to keep up his white blood cell count followed.
Eating, going up and down stairs, everything was just exhausting.
We haven't gone through a single year where we haven't found at least one person with a problem.
With the rare variant form of cancer that I had, my oncologist told me to my face that if you hadn't gone to your primary care physician to do this follow-up, you would have been dead in 6 months.
IFD worked with its local IAFF union to make the screenings mandatory in recent years.
Well, I thank God we do this.
I met Spencer Ashley over the summer doing a story about fireworks tent inspections, and that's how I found out about the screenings and how they saved his life.
And still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Today in the test kitchen, we're cooking naked. Yep, you heard me right, naked.
I'm sorry, Mr. Food sometimes, man. He kills, he slays. All right, well, our weather not slaying so much. Temperatures warming up. I will not be naked while giving the forecast. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon on what's been a cloudy and, until Mr. Food showed up, a dreary day, but he brought a little smile to everybody there, I think, or a giggle or something like that. Never a dull moment with Howard from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Our weather, on the other hand, you can see from downtown Pittsburgh, it looks a little dull, but we got some clouds out there. We've had isolated, and I mean isolated showers, really not much, and nor are we expecting much more. In fact, we should be pretty well just done with everything for today. As I mentioned earlier, skies will continue to clear from southwest to northeast as we head through the evening and overnight hours. We'll have mostly clear skies, but as you see, clouds will start to thicken back up tomorrow morning after, say, 3 or 4, and then we'll have another opportunity for isolated to widely scattered. So we go from a 10% chance to about a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. You can see the coverage not looking fantastic, but it looks like we have at least a slightly better opportunity for an isolated shower or storm. Once we reach about 3 o'clock, that should be pretty well done after that point. And then our skies will clear briefly before clouds begin to return as we head into Saturday morning. We have this low pressure system right here pushing into southeast Kansas, and right now its current track, it's going to bring an isolated is the weather word of the day, an isolated chance for a shower storm, mainly south of the Oklahoma-Kansas state line, south of I-44. But even then, those chances, in fact, looking at some of the new future track data, they're very low, very low. The rest of us, though, dry. And not much going on outside of that. So as for the rest of today, again, we're still spending a good portion of it mostly cloudy for most of the area, and we're looking at going into the mid to upper 70s. Now, as I mentioned, some of our southwestern counties, the southwestern corner of our area, or quarter of our area, might get closer to 80, maybe 81, but I think the bulk of the region is going to look at the mid to upper 70s. Southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Into the evening we go. Again, mostly clear skies until we get to 3, 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. Then they'll cloud back up. Our temperature is already a little milder, going back near 60 tonight. Tomorrow, low to mid 80s. Warm weather's back. Southwest winds around 5 to 10 miles an hour. And again, an isolated shower storm really from roughly 5, 6 o'clock tomorrow morning through about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon is going to be that window for an isolated shower or storm. Outside of that, again, Saturday, very low chance. There's even a fair chance that could drop off of here just because it's not looking promising. We're still low 80s. Sunday, on the other hand, sunny skies, getting close to 90 degrees. So, we talked about it earlier, 30 days hath September, but September did not get the memo because we're currently sitting at, what is this, maybe 42 days of September, where the temperatures have just stayed above average, and they will do so through next week with some additional isolated to scattered storm chances.
All right, Chris, thanks. Stick around. We're making Italian cheese dumplings in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. The studio is definitely intrigued by this recipe with Howard's cheese, but if you're looking for something new to add to your Italian menu, then today's Mr. Food recipe is the perfect cheesy addition to your weeknight dinner menu. Let's check in with Howard, who's making Italian cheese dumplings in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
One food trend that I've been hearing a lot about lately is something called nudie. Not being sure what it was, I looked it up and discovered it means naked in Italian. At first I was thinking, what kind of trend is this? But the more I read about it, the more I learned It refers to a dish that means naked ravioli because it's like the filling of ravioli without the pasta part around it. Let me show you. We begin by combining a container of ricotta cheese with a couple of eggs and an egg yolk, some Parmesan cheese, flour, and a little salt and pepper. Once that's mixed, we drop teaspoons of the dough onto a floured baking sheet. We found the easiest way to do this is by using 2 spoons, one to scoop the dough and the other to push it off. Once we do that to all the dough, we sprinkle on a bit more flour. This way they won't stick. Now, we gently drop these into a pot of boiling water. We'll do this in batches so the pot doesn't get too crowded. After they float to the top, we simmer them for a few more minutes until they're cooked through. Now we saute them in a buttery garlic sauce until they just start to get golden. Finish them off with some Parmesan and dig in. I hope you'll go online and try what we call Italian cheese dumplings so you can shake up pasta night with something new that's really tasty. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we're looking for an exciting way for you to say, "Ooh, it's so good."
All right, well, we were intrigued and now we're pretty impressed. If you want to get the recipe for these Italian cheese dumplings, you can find the recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. All you have to do, it's easy. Head on over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. You can find it under the Mr. Food tab. Now let's take a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, again, some clouds out there. These shower storms, anything out there is pretty well done as it is. A few more possible tomorrow between about 6 a.m. and 3 p.m. Maybe 1 or 2 Saturday south of I-44. Temperatures continue to climb as we enter, what is it, the 5th, 6th week of September, it feels like. Hanging out in the 80s. Long-range data, again, still suggesting, though, toward the end of this month, we should cool down.
Yeah.
It's just going to feel like forever between here and there.
Oh, hard to believe. All right, Chris, thanks. Well, coming up tonight at 5, apple picking is one of the fall's simple pleasures, but behind the scenes, it's a high-tech operation. We take a look at new technology helping pick your own farms thrive. Plus, some changes to this year's balloon regatta in Columbus, what you need to know before this weekend's festivities, and we break down the state auditor's report for the city of Joplin. You can join us for those stories and a whole lot more on KOAM News at 5. Certainly lots to look forward to tonight.
What's coming up tonight?
Absolutely, and that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. Have a great rest of your day.